Hola, hola. Today we're talking about the myth of the angry black woman. And I think tomorrow I'm going to talk about her counterpart, the victimized black woman. But today we're talking about, today we're talking about the myth of the angry black woman. Y'all ready? Really, that's interesting. That's so interesting. So why am I calling this the myth of the angry black woman? Well, we know that we have been demonized for being angry and bitter and all of those things, right? Tons of movies made about our anger and bitterness. Yes. Lots of story about our anger and bitterness. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit today. And some of this came up because I was on a YouTube, shout out to Dutch, on the Margarita Room on YouTube. We did a show yesterday, so you can check it out on the Margarita Room. And as we're speaking and we're talking about the trauma that we've experienced as Black people, I'm thinking about the trauma. And I mean, I could speak to the trauma of Black men too, but let me say this. Hi, my name is Maisha. I am the sensual energy alchemist. And really the work that I do with women is in part because I love Black men. Right? I do the work I do because I love Black women and Black men. But if I wasn't going to work directly with Black men, at the very least, I could work with the women so that women show up in their fullness and choose better men, and that the good men out there, you know, aren't kind of stuck with women who aren't willing to grow. All right, so the myth of the angry Black woman. The reason why this is a myth is because it totally disregards the trauma that Black women have been through in this country. And mind you, we could have the same discussion about Black men too, as well. I'm talking about the women today. Totally disregards our history in this country as of 1519 and before. So if you were to take a woman, right, who had been through, let's say, say a young girl, right? She's grown up, you know, then her parents separated, got divorced, right? Let's say they did that around puberty, right? Dad left and maybe he went off and started another family somewhere, right? And let's say, you know, she goes off looking for love in all the wrong places type of thing, and, you know, gets labeled as promiscuous or whatever have you, but she's really searching for the love, right? Stay with me because I'm going to tie it in. You know, but she's really angry. She's missing out on the love and all of that, and she's getting into fights at school. We would look at her and we would say, oh man, she's got some pent up emotions there. You know, the ACEs would come out, right? ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences, would come out, right? And people would want to talk about all the experiences that she went through that led her to be this young girl who was so angry. And that makes perfect sense. So let's magnify that by 500 years. Let's take that and magnify it and extend it out generation after generation after generation of from the first women who were brought here, who were confused, had no idea what was going on, right? Are meant to strip down naked in front of men that they don't know, are humiliated. Even if they don't speak the language, they're feeling humiliated about their bodies. Then they're forced to mate with men that they don't know. They're forced to mate with men who are enslaving them. They're forced to have these babies. Then their babies are taken from them, sold off to someplace else, so they can even bond with them. And these women don't understand what is happening here. That happens generation after generation after generation after generation. What do you think the outcome is going to be by the time you get to 2022? It is not that Black women are angry or bitter. It is that we have not dealt with the trauma that our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers have experienced. And we haven't dealt with the trauma in our own lives that's still happening. Now, the second part of this is when you go through trauma like that for so long, what can happen is you become disembodied. You have to separate. You can't stay in your body and feel all of that pain all the time. You wouldn't get up out of the bed. And God knows that Black women are depended on by so many.
You tell them.
Hi.
Preach.
Thank you, son. We are depended on by so many. And so in order to survive, you have to detach. You can't feel all the emotions. Well, how many times have we heard from the women in our families? I don't have time for that. I had to just get up and go. I couldn't sit still. People were depending on me. I had to go back to work. The kids are looking to be fed. My man needed this. My mother needed that. I couldn't stop. So dealing with ancestral trauma, which flows through our DNA through epigenetics, dealing with our own issues that we're dealing with in our life, in order to survive, shutting down parts of ourself, our sensuality, our sexuality, because we all know that many of us have been taught that that's dangerous anyway, especially if you've gone through the church. So you can't acknowledge that side of you. Can't acknowledge your femininity. We're not seen as soft, so we got to be hard quick. Society tells us we have to grow up quick. We can't be girls. We can't be just cute. Don't be too cute. So many of us heard that, right? So you have to grow up and get hard fast in order to survive. These are the lessons we were taught. And so then when you see a woman in her 20s or 30s or 40s and she looks angry and bitter, it's damn Black women are angry and bitter. The fuck you think was gonna happen? What did you think was gonna happen with all of the lineage that we are carrying with us? But here's the truth. We're not angry and bitter. We are sad. We are so sad. We are scared. We are afraid that we will die with no one loving us the way we feel like we deserve to be loved. We have not been able to grieve still this life or our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers' lives, and we need to take time to do that, and we haven't. And so if we're not going to do that, yes, anger is received by, absolutely, Jamaica, thank you. And so because we cannot do that, it comes across as angry and bitter. And we're cold, and we're shut down. These are ways that we have learned to adapt and survive in a country that we don't still necessarily feel like we fit in, but have nowhere else to go. And so we're trying our best to make do in a world that's still telling us that we are not okay or acceptable, but it's okay for white women to kind of look like us, but not for us to look like us. And we should be sassy because it's funny, but not sassy in real life because it's a problem. And we can't actually be angry, so we got to hold it back. And if we go into corporate America, we got to definitely act like our counterparts and can't bring any of our true self there. And we change our voice and make sure everything is picture perfect. And we have nowhere to be whoever it is we think we are, and we don't even know who that is. And then people will say, oh, it's angry and bitter. You know, over the past couple of weeks, I've always been passionate about Black women, but I've become extremely more. So shout outs to, oh my gosh, the new movie with Viola Davis in it that I cannot remember now, the Warrior King or something like that, about the Dahomey warriors. And I looked at that trailer, just the trailer alone, and I looked at these women And we've always had warriors, right? Like everybody, I love hashtag soft life because that's me, y'all. I am the temple priestess. I am the sensualista. That's me. That's me. There are women who are the warriors. This is not. I'm not that in that same way, right? But I look at these women, and then I look at us over here, and I look at how purposeful they were, how clear, just in a trailer. And I look at us over here and I'm like, man, we really lost our way. And here's the thing. We are the blueprint. We are the blueprint. There is not a person that would exist on this earth if not for coming from between the legs of a black woman. Because we were the first women. That's just science. That's archaeological fact. Our DNA is the blueprint for every other human being that walks on this planet. And here we are in this country in particular, and in other places too, grieving and not allowing ourselves to grieve, just separated, disembodied, not even able to feel the fullness, because if we decided to do that, we would wail for weeks. And we can't afford to take that time off. The loss of our children, our neighbors' children, what happens in some of our neighborhoods. We feel that and we carry that in our womb space. The space that we hold that is so powerful for us as women. We hold that trauma there, the trauma of our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers. And so, although all of that is true, sisters, we can't stay there. We can't stay there. Because the world is not going to shift the way it needs to shift until we do. And that is why so much is spent and put into keeping you in a state of stress. You got to find ways to take the most powerful and try and keep them real suppressed. They got to uptick your nervous system, keep you in a constant state of, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. Got to keep you in a constant state of fear. Got to keep you in a constant state of worry. Because while you're there, you can't create. While you're there, you can't really nurture your children. While you're there, you can't really gather together with your sisters. You gotta keep us pitted one against the other. You know, you got to keep us in competition with each other. Because if you do that, then we can't step into that space. Hey, y'all, hey. Hey. So while, yes, we carry this trauma in our wombs, and the trauma is a truth, right? It is also time for us to release it. Because it's not that we are angry and bitter. It's that we really need to grieve. We really need to grieve the loss of family we never knew, the loss of a language that we'll never reclaim, the loss of a history that we will never know. We need to grieve that and let it go. We need to be pissed off that it was that way and let it go. Because there isn't anything that we can do about the past 500 years. There's nothing we can change about what happened to us on boats and in plantations and all throughout our history up to this point. But what we can do is begin to work through that and process it out of our body so that we don't pass it on to the next generation, and so that we, for us and for our own lives, create the type of pleasure that we deserve as the mothers of humanity. You are the mother of humanity. Can you just breathe that in and really let that sit in your body? Can you feel the power of that and the responsibility of that? Because when you claim the responsibility of that, then we don't have time for some of this foolishness that we engage in. I'm not talking about twerking, y'all. Yo, like, we need to twerk, okay? Move your fucking hips, okay? But like this petty competition that we have with each other, fighting over men and resources, as though we cannot create more. We cannot create more. We who have been here since the very beginning. You see how you just like totally stripped of your power, and then somebody told you your power was outside of you, up in the clouds. Think about it. Like you carry the DNA of women who understood that they were power. Somebody took that power from you, whoop, wiped it out of you, and replaced it with, you're not powerful, but if you go over here to the external force, then you might be able to get a little something. But really, it's really after you die. It's really after you die that you'll get your reward for being so good. Hell no. Hell no. And so I say this to you. Okay, it's 4:34. I'm gonna jump off. It is a myth that black women are angry and bitter. Just like it is a myth that black men are violent. Yo, y'all, yeah, we pissed. We done been through some shit. You think we shouldn't be pissed? Abso-fucking-lutely. And we have a responsibility to grieve it, like to acknowledge it, to grieve it, to be angry, and then to let it go so we can create what needs to be created. That is like, we can stomp our feet like a toddler and go, it's not supposed to be this way. Like, we're not supposed to have to deal with all of this. And I'm with you and I got you. But we are. And so now what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What can you do? So on my previous post, I put a little exercise for women to do. Just something short, something you can do on a daily basis. And I'm going to be dropping little things because here's the reality of it. Some of us are able to go on magnificent retreats. You know, we can go get some healing and we can go see some of the sacred sexuality folks and all that. Some of us are really raising 2 and 3 kids alone. Some of us are working 2 jobs. Some of us are really trying to figure out, what are we eating tonight? And no, because the kids are going to eat. And when you're living like that, it can be real difficult to think about shifting your life and creating pleasure. It can be real challenging to think that if you bring more pleasure into your life, that's going to shift it. No, motherfucker, what'll shift my life is some extra cash, right? Because that's real. No, fuck a pleasure. I need money. What we have forgotten is our power to create. And our power to create lives in our pussy, not in a sexual way, y'all. It's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. But when we begin to tap into that power over time, and it takes time, the change starts to happen slow. And then it builds momentum. And it starts to happen faster. And I want you to be able to notice it as it's happening. So that's why I will be putting up little mini exercises for women to do, because everybody's not going to be able to afford a coach and everybody's not going to be able to afford a program. But I want you, no matter what your situation is, to start seeing that you deserve some fucking pleasure in your life. And I'm not just talking about go get your hair and nails did. That's cute. That's external. I'm talking about you feeling that power from the inside out and letting it just ooze out of you and shift you and shift your life. And no matter what your circumstances are, because trust me, I done been there. You name a circumstance, I can guarantee you I've probably been there. No matter what it is. Lord, the humidity done got my hair is popping up. Y'all see the natural hair just reaching for the sun, just reaching for the sun. I want you to know that no matter what situation you're currently in, you can begin to incorporate pleasure into your life in a way that will help to shift your life. Because it's possible. Still deserving no matter what the circumstances. We gonna that shame, that guilt, that regret, all of that. So please understand that black women being angry and bitter is a myth. We're sad, we are grieving. Yeah, we're angry at some things, but it's not just cause we're not angry just cause we didn't come out that way. The fuck. And we deserve all of the softness, all of the protection, all of the love, as do our men. As do our men. Because this is not a one against the other. And this is not one-upmanship. Well, I did for you, now you got to do for me. I'm not going to do for you until you that. Look, that's a whole nother live. I'm getting off on a tangent. All right. For the women, though, who are ready to dip their toe into their feminine power, click the link in my bio. Let's set up a call. Don't worry about what you see on there as far as the pricing is concerned. Just set up the call. And let's talk, because you don't know what's possible. And I want us to stop seeing something and go, oh, I can't do it. Set up the call. Click the link in my bio, read the page, set up the call. And see what happens. See what's possible. Because we've been taught so much to just not even think about what's possible in an effort to keep us safe. That time is over, y'all. I'm declaring it's over for us as black women. Do not hold yourself small to stay safe. Guaranteed that won't net you anything either. Check out the post beforehand for the little exercise that you can start doing. I'll be posting more of those. And these are really these are for everybody, but I was really thinking about when I was in a situation where, you know, people would be like, the course is only $47. And I was like, I don't have $47. I don't have $5. And so this will just be on my page. So feel free to share them. I'll post them throughout the week. Little things that you can do to start incorporating pleasure in your life. All right? I love you all. Click the link in the bio. Read. Set up the call. It is time for you to reclaim your feminine power that was taken from you. It was taken, but now it is your responsibility to reclaim it, because nobody's coming to give it back to you, sis. Nobody's coming to hand back your power to you. It's not happening. You're going to have to reclaim what it was, what it is. All right? I love you all. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.